27th, and yeah, any questions?
Well, can you hear the tires squealing in the lot as the players?
I think some of the cars were running when we were walking by to go into practice. So, yeah, they're excited.
So, kind of summarize how you think campus ball camp is going.
I think it's gone very well. I think we put a good plan together to kind of start off with developmental work, fundamentals and techniques for the older guys, and then transition into about half hour prep while continuing to do the developmental stuff and again get more towards Iowa focus. So I think it's gone very well.
I know you mentioned last time we talked to you, grades and stuff. Is there anybody that won't be able to play or anything like that?
Everybody's going to play.
Everybody.
What's it been like having Garrett out there the last couple of days? Has his head been kind of spinning out there?
Yeah, kind of hard to get the offense installed in 2 days. So we gave him a handful of pass routes, got him in on 2 7-on-7s. Looked pretty sharp yesterday. Came out, had a rough stretch to start in his first few reps this morning, and then finished with a good strong throw. So that was exciting. So anytime you can get a player, particularly a quarterback, kind of a little taste of what it's going to be like before they get here full time, I think that's very beneficial.
I know you're not all the way out of the woods in this regard yet, but do you expect any more staff changes?
Staff changes?
Yeah.
None have been communicated to me, and I certainly hope not. But understand the nature of the profession, and I've talked to guys about this, during the year, and then as everything wrapped up, that if there's opportunities for coaches to improve their situation, personally, professionally, and financially, I think that's part of my job as a head coach to help them, achieve those goals. And certainly, everyone's communicated the opportunities that have been made available to them, and he'd love to keep everyone intact. But at the same time, I think that's part of a head coach's responsibility to help the guys on the staff grow and achieve their goals as well.
Do you feel like you have everything you need here to retain guys when other suitors come?
In what regard?
Like with Coach Huff and Akron, for instance, they obviously came calling and he chose to say, do you feel like you have the ability to keep continuity?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a good administration. I think people understand, that it's a special place. They like our working environment. They like our kids. They like our trajectory. So there's a lot of positive things going on, and I think we've done a very good job with retention thus far, and we'll continue to do so.
Kind of a hypothetical, but if you had to go play Iowa in the next coming days, how comfortable would you be with what you've got in already?
You're never fully comfortable, but we've essentially done the game plan from a weekly preparation standpoint 1.5 times already. So if we would go on the field right now, we could operate everything that we're going to do in the game. There'll be some wrinkles that we add down there, just based off of the film that we watched today, and kind of getting together and fine-tuning the game plan. But if they set the ball down right now, we can kick it off. I'd feel comfortable where we're at.
There towards the end of the season, I know there were several players day-to-day, week-to-week kind of deal.
Yep.
Y'all pretty healthy at this point going into the game?
I'm trying to think by position. We haven't had everyone outside the guys who were out for the season. Everyone's been back and healthy and practicing.
Barring anything happening in the bowl games, is there anyone that may need some off-season cleanup or?
Yeah, there will be, and Thomas Collins and the staff. We address that. We'll meet on January 4th as a staff, and he has that report ready for us, and we'll kind of review who needs what and when's the best time to do it relative to spring ball and rehabilitation and fall camp and those things. So we'll do that when we get back in January.
Now that you've got a full year under your belt, is there anything that you want to have here that maybe you don't have here from a facility standpoint or equipment standpoint?
I do, I've communicated those things to Mr. Cohen, and we have very healthy discussions on the things that you need to be competitive in the SEC, and not just be competitive, but strive to win a championship, and all those things have been positive, and everyone's pulling the rope in the same direction. I think positive strides have been made in that regard, and hopefully. We see some of those things come to fruition as we move forward. But, all the support that we've asked for as a staff and a program we've gotten.
What are kind of your Christmas plans for the next few days?
Today's Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's tomorrow, head down to New Orleans for the weekend. I'm going to take in Steelers-Saints game. a young man that was on staff with me at Penn State's an assistant with the Saints now, and the person who's getting us the tickets is a Saints fan, so I will bring my terrible towel. I'm not quite sure how visible it will be. We have 5 of them, so, and then just kick back at home for a day.
With recruiting 2 days in the rear view and had a chance to kind of look over how everything went with signing day, and how do you feel that this first full recruiting class went for you?
You know, I think from a identification and evaluation standpoint, we talked about the things that we've done and need to continue to do to make sure that we're recruiting the right kind of guys from an athletic standpoint, a grade standpoint, a character standpoint. So we feel good about that. I feel good about the relationships that we formed and cultivated with the coaches in the state and our primary recruiting areas and nationally, and the reception that we've received on the road. I feel great about what we have to offer here at Mississippi State, and I think it showed up in our class. Rankings is your thing. I think it's been a pretty highly ranked class, but just as important, it's a class that our staff feels comfortable with recruiting the type of guys that we feel are great fits for our program.
Obviously, beating Iowa is number one, but there's more that goes into a bowl game than just the game itself. How excited are you to do some of those activities that are laid out for you with these guys? And
that was part of our hope and excitement and belief that this is the bowl game that we were going to draw. Anytime you can get a New Year's Day bowl, it helps leading up to it because you can get a bunch of work in. You cut them loose on the 21st, and then they get Christmas at home, and then you're able to reconvene on the 26th. And then we'll have a full week's worth of preparation, starting with a football Sunday and then leading all the way up to game day. So that's good from a continuity and a process standpoint, and the way that the bowl's been scheduled. I think it's conducive to compartmentalizing and taking advantage of the fun time and the football time, where all the meetings and practices for us in the morning, and then the activities are scheduled in the second half of the day. So kids are going to get a little bit of the best of both worlds, I guess, so to speak.
You mentioned the importance of the bowl game being as late as January 1st. Kylan Hill was a guy that was banged up pretty much all year. Yeah. How important has it been for him to sort of rest a little bit, and how's he looked?
He's got very fresh legs. He looks good. I remarked to Coach Huff today on the field, in between reps, and when we were watching the film, the Kylan looks like really, really fresh and recovered. So, that's a positive, because he was as frustrated as we were, kind of in that, just past the midpoint of the season, balancing some things and missing a few games, but he was on pace to have a be a 1,000-yard rusher, and I know he's kind of still in that range, but to get him healthy for the bowl games, I'm excited for him and for us.
Will everybody return here and travel together to the bowl site, or will you guys rally at the bowl site?
It's going to be a mix. The guys who want to fly down on the team charter are able to do so, and then the guys who are going home are able to find their way to get to the bowl.
Obviously, Jeffrey made his decision yesterday. What have those conversations been like with him the past couple days?
I don't want to say it was a foregone conclusion, because I don't want to speak for him, but I mean, from 20 years of coaching, when a young man has an opportunity to change his life by becoming a potential first-round pick, and specifically a high first-round pick, my advice is to take advantage of that, and you can always come back and get your degree, because that's a life-changing opportunity. And I know you guys asked it last time, and he hadn't made his decision, and I certainly, just like on signing day, that's the signee's moment. To me, this was Jeffrey's moment, and I wanted to have him kind of announce it and talk about it on his own accord, because he's earned that right. So the discussions were all positive, and no one tried to honestly give him a reason to come back. If he wanted to, we would not have said no. But certainly, I think in his best interest, I think he made a great decision.
Is he the prototypical pro at this point, with his combination of strength and his ability to move at his size?
Yeah, I mean, you look, I know it's different positions, but you look at a guy like Saquon, past few years, and being fortunate enough to coach him, and just talk about the measurables, the productivity, and then the the intangibles. I think Jeffrey's a unique mix of all three of those, in the sense that he checks off all the boxes. When he goes to the combine and tests, he's going to blow those out of the water. When you get him on the board, Coach Baker's done a great job, teaching him the X's and O's part of it, and I think the rest of it he'll do very well and then kind of question and answer session as well. So I anticipate him, doing very well when it gets to that component of the draft.